They had the voice. They had the fame. Then the music stopped. 12 singers once ruled the charts. Their songs played on every radio. Then one day, they vanished. You think you know 60s R&B, but most fans never learned the truth behind these voices. Some got cheated, some got forgotten, some got away and never came back. This is the real story of rise and fall. Stay with us. Number 1 will surprise you. Number 12, Tami Lynn, I'm Gonna Run Away From You. Picture a small studio in New Orleans. The air is thick and warm. A young woman steps up to an old microphone, closes her eyes, and pours out a song about heartbreak like she is living it right there in front of you. There is no big show, no fancy lights, just raw feeling caught on tape. Tami Lynn recorded this song in the mid-1960s. At home in America, it barely made a sound. It slipped out quietly, almost unnoticed, the way so many great records did in that era. But something strange happened years later. The song crossed the ocean and landed in the United Kingdom, where it became a massive hit on the Northern soul scene. A whole culture built around dancing all night to lost American soul records that never got their due back home. Here is a fact that will surprise you. Tami Lynn had almost no idea how big she had become overseas until much later in her life. She was living her everyday life in America, while, across the ocean, thousands of people were packing dance floors to her voice, without her even knowing it was happening. Imagine finding out your biggest fame was happening on the other side of the world, completely without you. Think about that for a second. A song this powerful, this emotional, got almost no push in the country it was born in. No big label campaign, no radio love, no second chance on the charts. It just sat quiet in the States while a whole different country fell in love with it and built a movement around it. Why did it fade at home? Simple. The label barely promoted it. There was no real marketing push, no strong distribution, nothing to carry the song past its first quiet release. It took people across an ocean, digging through crates of old American records, to finally give this song the love it deserved. If a song this powerful could get ignored in its own country, imagine how many more are still buried somewhere, waiting for someone to find them. Let's keep going, because the next story hits even closer to home. Number 11, Jackie Ross, Selfish One. Kills the artist before the artist even gets the chance to grow into who they could have been. Stay close, because the next name faced something even harder than paperwork. People discover this hidden history.
All right, quick pause in the countdown, because I need to say this from the heart. If these R&B picks are hitting you, if they're bringing back memories, late night vibes, old playlists, and that feeling you can't explain, then please subscribe to
80s R&B playlist.
But because it genuinely helps this channel survive and grow. Every subscribe is like you telling YouTube, yes, this music matters. Keep this kind of content alive. It pushes these forgotten songs back into the light, helps more real R&B lovers find the channel and lets me keep making deeper, better countdowns for you. So if you want more lists like this, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a comment with the one R&B song that raised you. Let's bring these classics back together.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history, and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. Number 10. Wendy Rene. After laughter comes tears. Imagine a teenage girl from Memphis, standing in front of a microphone, singing from a place of real pain. Not performance, real pain. That is what you hear the second this record starts playing. There is a heaviness in her voice that most teenagers should never have to carry. Wendy Rene recorded this song for Stax Records in 1964. The song talks about heartbreak hiding behind a smile, about crying on the inside while looking fine on the outside. At the time, it did not chart high. It came and went quietly, one more record in a crowded lineup of talented Stax artists competing for attention. But decades later, something remarkable happened. A young hip-hop producer sampled her voice for a massive record that most of you listening right now have probably heard on the radio without even knowing where it came from. That single sample introduced Wendy Rene to a whole new generation of fans who had never even heard her name before. Here is a fact that will stop you in your tracks. Wendy Rene did not know for years that her voice had reached millions of new ears through that sample. By the time it happened, she had already stepped away from music completely, choosing to live a quiet, private life far away from any spotlight or stage. Why is she forgotten? Because Stax Records was juggling too many stars at once during that era. A young teenage voice, no matter how powerful, can get lost in a lineup full of bigger, more established names. Her talent was never the problem. The timing simply was not on her side. This next one carries real grit. A voice that sounds like it came straight from the church on Sunday and straight from the struggles of everyday life on Monday. Number 9. Betty Harris, Cry to Me. Picture a smoky club in New Orleans, late at night. The air smells like cigarettes and rhythm. A woman steps on stage, and the moment she opens her mouth, the whole room goes completely still, like everyone forgot how to talk. Betty Harris recorded Cry to Me in 1963. It became a favorite in the soul scene almost immediately, admired for its raw, aching delivery.
Don't you feel like crying?
It was later covered by major rock legends who wanted that same emotional pull in their own version, and many musicians still point to her original as the definitive take. Her sound was gritty, aching, and completely real, with no polish covering up the pain in her voice.
Don't you feel just crying?
Here is something most fans never knew. Betty Harris walked away from the music business at the height of her career, right when she could have chased even bigger fame. She simply disappeared from the industry for decades afterward, choosing privacy and a normal life over constant touring, constant pressure, and constant public attention. Why is she forgotten? Because, in a strange way, she chose to be. She was not pushed out by a label or buried by bad business. She stepped out on her own terms, which is incredibly rare in this business. And rare stories like that, stories of an artist walking away by choice, do not get told nearly as often as the sad ones about artists who got pushed aside. Sometimes walking away takes more strength than staying and fighting. Keep that thought in mind as we move forward, because the next voice on this list did not get that same choice. Number 8. O.V. Wright. That's How Strong My Love Is. Feel this one for a second. A deep, aching voice, full of love and full of hurt at the same time, coming out of a small studio in the middle of the 1960s. It sounds like a man confessing something he has never told anyone before. O.V. Wright recorded this song in 1964. It is considered one of the most respected deep soul records ever made, later covered by huge names in rock and soul, who wanted to capture that same emotional weight in their own performances. Critics and fellow singers often called his voice one of the most powerful and most honest of his entire generation. Here is a story that breaks the heart. O.V. Wright battled personal struggles for years, the kind of struggles that a lot of artists in that era quietly dealt with but almost never talked about in public because of shame or fear. His career had real highs, real chart success, real respect from other musicians, but his life outside the studio was a constant, quiet battle that few people around him fully understood. He faded from mainstream memory because his life outside music became harder than his life inside it, and the music industry back then simply did not know how to support artists going through pain like that. There was no real safety net, no real help offered. He got left behind as a person, even while his music stayed deeply respected among those who knew it. Stick with us, because later in this list, one artist did not just struggle with the industry from a distance. She stood up and fought her own record label directly in court, over a song you have almost certainly heard before. Number 7. Chuck Jackson. Any Day Now.
Day now, I will hear you.
Picture a confident young man walking into a New York studio in 1962, ready to sing one of the most emotionally rich ballads of the entire decade. He knows this song is special the moment he hears the arrangement.
Say goodbye, my love.
Chuck Jackson recorded Any Day Now for Wand Records, with a sweeping arrangement that many musicians still study today for the way it slowly builds emotion, from the very first note to the last.
And you'll be on your way.
The song is about waiting for a heartbreak that you already know is coming, dreading a goodbye you cannot stop. It became a defining example of early 60s soul balladry, and it was later covered by major country and pop artists. Crossing genre lines almost nobody expected a soul ballad to cross at that time.
In my wild, beautiful bird, you were.
Here is something that will surprise you. Chuck Jackson kept performing for decades after his commercial peak faded, staying loyal to the music and to his fans long after the radio had moved on to newer, louder sounds. He never stopped believing in the songs that made him who he was. He is forgotten today mostly because the industry shifted so fast in the late 60s.
Have fun. Oh, any day.
New sounds, new labels, and new trends pushed aside the ballad singers of the early 60s almost overnight, even the truly brilliant ones like him. The business rarely waits for anyone.
Any day now.
The next artist on this list is proof that sometimes the most respected voice in the room is not the one that ends up becoming a household name. Number 6. Doris Troy. Just One Look. Picture a joyful, powerful voice bursting through the radio in 1963. A song that just makes you want to move, no matter what kind of day you are having. Doris Troy wrote and recorded Just One Look herself, which was extremely rare for a woman in that era, when most songs were handed to singers by male songwriters and producers. The song became a big hit and was later covered by major rock bands who respected her original so much that they barely changed a single note of it. Her songwriting skill quietly impressed some of the biggest names in music at the time, even if the public did not always know her name. Here is a fact most people miss completely. Doris Troy later worked behind the scenes with major British rock artists, contributing vocals and writing on legendary albums that sold millions of copies. But she almost never got credited the way she truly deserved. Her contributions folded quietly into someone else's success. She faded from the spotlight because she spent much of her career supporting other artists' fame instead of building her own name into something bigger. Talented people sometimes get used as the engine of the car, while someone else gets to drive it and take the credit. Coming up, a heartbreak ballad so powerful it became a soul standard, sung by a man whose story still moves people to tears decades later. Number 5. Garnet Mims, Cry Baby. Picture a man pouring every single ounce of pain into a microphone in 1963. A performance so intense it practically shakes the speakers just listening to it now. Garnet Mims recorded Cry Baby with his group at the time, and the raw power of his lead vocal became legendary almost instantly. It was later covered by one of the most iconic female rock voices in history, who openly called his original version a huge influence on her own singing style. I'll take good care of you. The song mixes gospel fire with pure heartbreak, and it hit the charts hard, becoming one of the most emotionally charged records of the decade. Let you go. Here is something powerful to think about. Garnet Mims started in gospel music long before crossing into soul, and you can hear that church background in every note he screams and every note he holds back, like he is testifying instead of just singing. Oh, what a fool I was. He is forgotten today because his group broke apart not long after his biggest hit, and without that unit behind him, his solo path never quite found the same spotlight again. To hurt you so, but sometimes a voice needs the right team around it to keep climbing. And once that team falls apart, the climb gets much harder. But now I know we are halfway through this list. Which song has hit you the hardest so far? Type it in the comments below, because I really want to know which story is landing with you. Number 4. Barbara Lewis. Hello, Stranger. Picture a soft, dreamy song drifting out of car radios on a warm night in 1963. The kind of song that makes you slow down and just breathe for a moment.
It's so good to see you back again.
Barbara Lewis wrote Hello Stranger herself and recorded it for Atlantic Records. It became a massive hit and one of the most beloved soul songs of the entire decade, later covered by other major artists who wanted that same warm, nostalgic feeling in their own versions.
How long has it been? It seems
It is still played today at weddings and slow dances, decades after it was first recorded. Here is a touching fact. Barbara Lewis wrote this song thinking about the feeling of reconnecting with someone from her past, someone she had not seen in a long time.
like a mighty long time, and it does.
That personal honesty, that real memory behind the words, is exactly why the song still feels so real and so warm today. She quietly stepped back from the industry over time, choosing a private, peaceful life over constant touring and constant pressure to keep chasing bigger hits.
It's about my baby. Ooh, do you know it? It seems
The business moved on fast in the late 60s, and soft ballad singers like her often got replaced by louder, harder, more aggressive sounds as the decade changed direction.
like a mighty long time.
The next name on this list carries a title that sounds like a warning, and honestly, looking back at his story, it kind of was. Number 3. Howard Tate. Get It While You Can.
In this world where people
Picture a voice so full of soul that even other legends stopped what they were doing and took notice the very first time they heard it on the radio. Howard Tate recorded Get It While You Can in 1967.
are fighting with each other.
The song is about grabbing happiness before life takes it away from you. A message that feels almost like a warning looking back. It became deeply respected in soul circles, and it was later covered by one of the biggest rock voices in history, who openly called Howard Tate a major inspiration on her own career.
No one to count on.
Here is a story that will stay with you long after this video ends. Howard Tate disappeared from the music industry for many years. For a long stretch of time, many people in the business actually assumed he had passed away, since no one had heard from him or seen him perform.
Not even your own.
He was actually alive the whole time, quietly rebuilding his life far away from any stage or spotlight. He faded from public memory because his personal struggles pulled him away from music completely for a long period of his life.
Brother. So if someone
When he eventually returned decades later, the entire industry had changed so much that most new listeners had never even heard his name before, let alone his music.
comes along and gives you
Coming up, a song about love so strong it broke through when nothing else did, sung by a voice that never got the full credit it truly deserved. Number 2. Maxine Brown. Oh No, Not My Baby. Picture a confident, polished voice gliding smoothly over a bouncy beat in 1964. A song built on trust and heartbreak happening at exactly the same time. Maxine Brown recorded this song, and it became one of the most covered soul songs of the entire decade, picked up by major artists across pop, soul, and even country music for years afterward. Musicians often say the songwriting and structure of this track is nearly perfect, a masterclass in how to build a soul song from the ground up. Here is something most fans do not know. Maxine Brown had a long string of hits throughout the 60s, but she never quite broke into true superstar status, even though musicians and industry insiders respected her as one of the most skilled and reliable vocalists of her entire generation. She is forgotten by casual fans today because her hits, while deeply respected inside the industry, never quite became the biggest crossover smashes of the era. Critics loved her steady excellence. Casual radio listeners, chasing the newest sound, simply moved on to bigger-named stars instead. Now we reach number 1, and this is the story we teased earlier in this video. A singer who did not just get overlooked by the industry, she had to fight her own record label for what was rightfully hers.
All right, quick pause in the countdown because I need to say this from the heart. If these R&B picks are hitting you, if they're bringing back memories, late night vibes, old playlists, and that feeling you can't explain, then please subscribe to
80s R&B playlist.
But because it genuinely helps this channel survive and grow. Every subscribe is like you telling YouTube, yes, this music matters. Keep this kind of content alive. It pushes these forgotten songs back into the light, helps more real R&B lovers find the channel, and lets me keep making deeper, better countdowns for you. So if you want more lists like this, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and drop a comment with the one R&B song that raised you. Let's bring these classics back together.
Every story you see here takes hours of digging, piecing together history, and bringing forgotten moments back to life. If you'd like to support that work, you can become a channel member. It's just the cost of a cup of coffee, but it helps us keep these stories alive, and for that, we're grateful. Number 1, Fontella Bass, Rescue Me. Picture a young woman walking into Chess Records in Chicago in 1965, about to record a song that would go on to become one of the most recognized soul anthems of all time, though she likely had no idea just how big it would become. Fontella Bass recorded Rescue Me, and it became a massive hit, one of the biggest crossover soul records of the entire decade. It has been used in commercials, films, and television shows for years, and most people who hear it instantly recognize the song, even if they have never once heard her name. Here is the controversy we promised you earlier. For years, Fontella Bass did not receive proper songwriting credit or fair payment for Rescue Me, even as the song continued making significant money for others through commercials and licensing deals long after its initial release. Some people say the original label paperwork simply left her name off the writing credits. In interviews, it has been said that she had to fight for a long time just to be recognized as a writer on her own song, a song that everyone in the world already associated with her voice. There are different versions of the story about exactly how the credit got lost or left off in the first place. But what is clear is that this kind of thing was disturbingly common in that era, when labels held almost all the power and artists, especially young black women, often had very little control over their own creative work. In the 1990s, After the song appeared in a major national commercial, Fontella Bass took legal action to finally be recognized and fairly compensated for her work. It became one of the more well-known cases of an artist standing up decades later to reclaim what had always been rightfully hers. This fight changed how people talk about her legacy today. Instead of being remembered only as a one-hit voice from the 60s, she became a symbol for an entire generation of singers who got used by the industry and had to fight, sometimes for 30 years or more, just to be seen as more than a voice for hire. Her story is not just about one song. It is about an entire generation of singers who gave everything they had to the music and still had to fight, decades later, just to get their own name attached to their own work.